Dear white people, I hope this finds you well, but I just want to tell you, we're tired. We're tired of all of this. We're tired of having to explain what's going on. Look, I'll keep it simple for you. This isn't about George Floyd. It's not. I know that it keeps coming up and you think we're making him a martyr, but it's not about George Floyd. Just a little bit, but not really. What it's about is that cop went home. Yet another cop went home. That's it. We keep seeing it over and 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 over again, and we keep explaining it over and over and over and over and over and over again. And we're tired. That's why the protests are happening. That's why the riots are happening. That's why everything that you're seeing happening right now is happening, because yet another police officer went home. Let me back up. When George Floyd was being detained, they had already called an ambulance because they felt like something was wrong. Or maybe he even said something was wrong. So that time that they detained him to the time that he ended up on the ground, the paramedics were already called. While he was on the ground with a knee in his neck, he went from "I can't breathe" to calling out his mom to dead, and we watched it happen. So by that time that the paramedic came, he was already dead. We watched the man who killed George Floyd. We watched him kill him with no remorse, with no indication that there was a dead man under his knee. And then he went home. And it doesn't have to be George Floyd. If George Floyd bothers you, get rid of him. Make it any other name. And we watched that cop go home. So we're tired of that. It's exhausting explaining you 100 different ways. 100 different ways. We're explaining and coming up different analogies and different ways to say this is why this is racism, this is why this is happening, and Black Lives Matter. I'm gonna stop here. Black Lives Matter. What that means? It doesn't mean the black life matters more than this other life. No. It means that the black life matters just as much as these lives. So when something happens and we see the cop go home, it feels like this life means nothing compared to these lives. If these lives are equal, all lives, then Black Lives Matter. That's what it's about. Bringing us to this level so that we count just as much as this other ones count. If there was a dead cop, the whole force would be out there. So this time, we're sick of this happening. You can stop looking up his criminal background record. Doesn't matter. You can stop looking at if he had meth in his system, he was in drugs, whatever. It doesn't matter. What matters is he was laying on the ground, and for 7 minutes we watched the man plead, then die, and the person that killed him went home. So the more that you continue to make us explain to you why we're bothered, to explain to you why we're protesting, to explain to you Black Lives Matter, to explain to you racism, to explain to you the criminal justice system, to explain to you police brutality, the more that you make us explain that, the more infuriated we get, the more frustrated we get. And then we get to this point where there's this line that we're trying not to cross. We're trying desperately not to cross this line. But the more you make me explain it, the more that you don't understand, the more that you're confused, it gets us to the point where we have to be honest and very blunt and very direct and very honest and say something that you probably are going to hate and it's probably going to annoy you, but we're going to have to call it what it is, and that you are a